What's trending this week in the Vatican? Join us right now as we bring you the inside scoop on the top 3 Vatican stories of the week. Announcements sent out, celebrations prepared, and a community in Rome ready to welcome their new cardinal. Everything was planned for Cardinal Pizzaballa to take possession of his parish church in Rome. But there was one thing missing: the cardinal himself. Everything was planned for Cardinal Pizzaballa to take possession of his parish in Rome. But that same morning, the Vatican confirmed he would not be present, and the celebration would be postponed to another date not yet specified. The official reasons for his absence have not been revealed. The cardinal has traveled over the last few months with the ongoing war. It seems that the Patriarch of Jerusalem prefers to remain in the Holy Land at this time, especially in the wake of the escalation of conflict with Iran's intervention. The Iranian attack took place on the night of April 13th, when for the first time the country launched more than 300 missiles and drones on Israel. 99% were intercepted, costing the Israeli defense about $1 billion. No fatalities were reported. The situation in the area has also been a cause for concern for Pope Francis. During his Regina Caeli prayer, he called for an end to the violence in the Middle East once and for all.
Seguo nella preghiera e con preoccupazione, anche dolore, le notizie giunte nelle ultime ore sull'aggravamento della situazione in Israele a causa dell'intervento da parte dell'Iran. Faccio un accorato appello affinché si fermi ogni azione che possa alimentare una spirale di violenza col rischio di trascinare il Medio Oriente in un conflitto bellico ancora più grande.
The Holy See and the Islamic Republic of Iran have maintained diplomatic relations since the time of Pope Pius XII. One of the last diplomatic gestures between the two states took place in October 2023, when the Iranian foreign minister called his counterpart in the Holy See, Archbishop Gallagher, to discuss the situation in the Middle East. The latter asked Iran to avoid an escalation of hostilities. A cardinal facing a civil court ruling in France. But the Vatican is fighting back. They filed a diplomatic complaint with the French embassy. Their reasons: a civil court has no basis in a congregation's internal affairs, and the cardinal had never been summoned. Now, only time will tell just exactly what the outcome will be. The Vatican filed a diplomatic complaint with the French embassy after a civil court ruled in the first instance against Cardinal Ouellet and a religious congregation for, quote, the unjustified and demeaning dismissal of a nun. These events followed an internal investigation Pope Francis assigned to the cardinal when he was the prefect of the dicastery for bishops, following several complaints filed within the community that led to internal tensions. Specifically, the Vatican press office clarified several points on this issue. On the one hand, they said they learned about this decision of the French courts only from the press, and that the cardinal never received any summons from the court. If that is the case, neither Ouellet nor the other 2 investigators would have had the opportunity to defend themselves against the accusations. On the other hand, the Vatican stated that a civil court should not rule on internal questions of membership of a religious institute, because it could result in a, quote, grave violation of the rights of religious freedom and of association of Catholics. As for the nun, she pointed out that her expulsion was unjust, that she could not defend herself, and that she was ordered to leave the convent overnight. For all this, she requested a compensation of about $850,000. In view of this sentence, the congregation released a statement saying, "This judgment handed down by a single judge, rather than a panel of judges, is open to criticism on several accounts, and we have instructed our lawyers to lodge an immediate appeal with the Rennes Court of Appeals." For the time being, the court's ruling is that the congregation, Ouellet, and the other investigators will have to pay about $200,000 to the nun for moral and material damages. A papal title closely linked to the ancient Roman Empire is making a comeback. After 18 years of gathering dust on a shelf, the title Patriarch of the West can now be applied to Pope Francis. No one is 100% certain why the Argentine Pope is reinstating the name, but the impact cannot be ignored. Using the title once more could potentially be one step in the direction of unity between Catholics and the Orthodox. Pope Francis can once again be called the Patriarch of the West. The new edition of the Vatican Yearbook lists the papal titles, names, and duties of the curial staff. The Vatican has not yet given an explanation as to why Pope Francis is reinstating this title after his predecessor stopped using it in 2006. At that time, the then Pontifical Council for Promoting Christian Unity explained it was a difficult title to use today, since the West is no longer defined by the borders of the Roman Empire. Culturally, the West could apply as far as New Zealand, which is counterintuitive, since for ancient Rome, it was the easternmost part of the world. But Pope Francis's decision does not seem to be related to whether the position is relevant or not. Rather, it may be a gesture towards the Orthodox Church, where the Pope was seen as just one more among the patriarchs. The Pope would not be a superior figurehead. This is how the Rome advisor to the ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople describes it. He points out that Francis's decision expresses his vision of the papacy.
Perché ha fatto questo gesto?
Why did the Pope make these gestures? Because at heart, the Pope is very much about the importance of synodality. To make important decisions again, we must be united. The Orthodox Church has expressed its appreciation for the Pope's gestures over the years, from introducing himself as Bishop of Rome rather than Pope upon his election, to reviving this historic title of Patriarch. That's it from us at Rome Reports for this week. Join us again next time as we see what's trending here at the Vatican.